Okay, welcome to another episode of the Winners Win podcast. I'm excited to have this conversation. I think a lot about the many great entrepreneurs I've met, and the one underlying thing they all have in common is that they think and operate like the underdog in whatever sector they generally are in. Even when they have the edge, they don't act like it. And it's something I want to unpack a little bit more today. I want to pack up what it means to operate like an underdog, to have the underdog mentality. And I'm going to specifically focus on entrepreneurship and why I think that the underdog mentality is not just a mindset. I think that it's a survival tool for you as an entrepreneur. And I think that we'll explore how also becoming too much of an expert is actually something that can work against you. It's something that works against innovation. And I think that this is something very personal. So buckle in and here we go. So let me talk to what I think are some of the defining underdog mentality. It's not about weakness. It's about constantly staying hungry. Underdogs generally over-prepare, over-deliver, and outlast. Outlast simply means that you are tactical and strategic enough to want to live and survive another day. And then thinking like an underdog really makes you gritty. It humbles you and it keeps you resilient against all things. I think that when you're the underdog, you just don't have the luxury of entitlement, particularly in everything that you touch and the things that you're focused on. You build with your back against the wall. Anyone who knows me will generally hear me say my back is against the wall when I'm going through something difficult. But believe it or not, that wall generally becomes your spine. I want to expand on what I mean by the dangers of being an expert and the dangers of operating like an expert in the context of entrepreneurship. I think that the expert is not someone with knowledge. It's someone whose identity is trapped in knowing. The expert is too smart to be wrong and too experienced, for that matter, to try something new. I think that expertise without curiosity generally sort of leads to this sense of arrogance. Sort of experts generally dismiss ideas and new ideas because they quote unquote know too much, and I think that's problematic. Whereas innovation really lies in the beginner's mind, as it were, and not what I would sort of call the expert's ego, because that's what generally comes out. And experts generally kill ideas by diagnosing them before they're even born. The other thing to sort of understand is how you contrast the mindsets between the underdog and the expert, right? So let me just do like a few things. Generally, the underdog will experiment. So underdogs experiment a lot. Experts critique a lot. Okay, underdogs will ask, "What if?" And the experts will generally say, "Here's why not," because they know. The underdog starts messy, right? The underdogs are constantly launching. Like you don't have to wait for perfection, whereas experts demand that perfection. The underdog learns through doing, whilst the expert wait to be sure, right? So there's a very distinct mentality in how the two operate and what drives success in business, in entrepreneurship, and in growth, particularly when you're running a startup, or a business for that matter. And just history demonstrates that those who generally disrupt industries have this underdog mentality. We don't have to go too far. Generally, you look at businesses like Airbnb, Uber, Canva, etc. These are people who went into spaces where they were not the experts. To wrap this up, I love my list, so I want to talk about 10 cause and effect reasons for operating like an underdog. Number one is that operate with scarce resources. You assume nothing is guaranteed. You invent lean, creative, and often cheaper solutions that incumbents overlook, and that gives you a cost edge in the market. Number two, you expect resistance, not applause, and this forges grit and resilience. So setbacks become a drill. They are not disasters. It's just the way you begin to approach everything. Not everything breaks you anymore. Three, you stay hungry for every inch of progress. And this thought is that you need to exercise relentless execution. I've always said, execution is the variable of success. And relentless execution speeds up iteration, i.e., improvements, making small improvements on what you're working on consistently. Your product evolves faster than your rivals can react. Number four, you have to remain radically humble. Titles don't mean a thing. Learning means everything. You truly listen to customers and your teammates. You're adapting to real life and real time changes, whilst your competitors might cling to ego. Number five, leverage being underestimated. It's an absolute gift as an entrepreneur. You move in stealth mode. You seize the niche opportunities before the bigger players can seize upon it. Number six, keep the beginner's mind. You question the sacred cows consistently. You spot opportunities experts miss, and you innovate where conventional wisdom said it generally couldn't be done. Number seven, focus on earning trust and not flaunting credentials. I think that's absolutely important. The way to win the race is through authenticity, and authenticity builds a loyal tribe. It builds customers, investors, and employees who root for your success. Number eight, promise and prepare, because failure generally feels very personal. And you'll go back and you'll know why you missed it. You constantly have to deliver, creating a reputation for quality that outshines much bigger players and much bigger brands, because you can add that personal touch that moves you forward. Number nine, learn obsessively. Every day is day one. And in the era we're living in now, we can accelerate that learning quite aggressively for us entrepreneurs. Number 10, band together with other, I want to call them outsiders, but it's important to say band together with other underdogs, because there's a shared mentality. Collaboration networks form naturally, and that sort of amplifies your reach and your resources without heavy spend. In closing, then, I want to reiterate that the world doesn't need more experts from an entrepreneurial standpoint. It needs more builders. It needs people willing to take the shot they are not qualified for. And that's what the underdog does best. If you're building something, that's good. Build it with fire. And build it like you have nothing to lose, because that's when you generally win the most. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the Winners Win podcast. Like, share, comment, tell a friend to tell a friend, and for all the underdogs, smash that like button and let me hear what you have to say. We out. See you next time.